Hi, lovelies. There is a moment that happens every time money arrives. Not just a big pay rise, a bonus, a shift picked up, a side job that pays out. Any of it, the money lands in the account. And within hours, sometimes within minutes, something shifts. Not the balance, the feeling. Suddenly there is a reason to treat yourself. Something you have been putting off feels reasonable now. A purchase you hesitated on last week feels fine this week. It is not reckless, it feels like relief. The problem is that the relief does not check the calendar. It does not know how long the money has to last. It does not weigh up what is already committed. It just registers one thing, there is more. And once it registers that, the decision is already made. If that sounds familiar, you are not the only one. 1. The permission moment. This is where the pattern starts, not in a shop, not on a night out, not even in a moment of weakness. It starts the second the balance changes. When I worked in a bank, I saw this constantly. The language would shift the moment money arrived. Not dramatically, just slightly. Someone would come in to check their balance on payday. And the way they said right when they saw it, that one word, it told you everything. There is a small psychological event that happens when money arrives. The brain registers it as permission. Permission to stop holding back. Permission to make the decisions that felt too big before. Researchers call it the windfall effect. When people receive irregular or unexpected income, they tend to treat it as separate from their regular money and spend it more freely as a result. But it was not just bonuses or irregular money. It was every payday, the trigger fired every time. And the decisions that followed were rarely what people planned. Before your next payday, write down one thing the money is not going to be spent on this month. Just one, before the feeling arrives. 2. It happened at every income level. Here is the thing that surprised me most when I worked there. The pattern was the same whether someone was earning just enough or earning well. A young woman came in on her first proper payday, careful for months, first full payslip. She just wanted to buy something that felt like the job was worth having. A few years later, I saw the same expression on someone earning considerably more. Different amount, samey shift. Samey relief, the relief was real for both of them. The problem was the same too. Neither had decided in advance what the relief was going to cost. The amount changes with income, the behaviour does not. And what I noticed was this. The people who interrupted it were rarely the ones earning the most. They were the ones who had made one decision before the money arrived. 3. The raise that disappeared. Most people recognize this one. They ask for the raise. They wait for it. It lands. They feel it for about 3 weeks. Then the month after, it is just the new normal. And the month after that, they wonder where it went. I remember a woman who came in on a Tuesday. She had just had her first pay after a raise came through. She was pleased. She said she was finally going to start getting on top of things. I asked what she was going to do differently. She paused. I haven't really decided yet, she said. That pause was the answer. The raise had arrived. The structure had not changed. The existing habits had ways of absorbing it. The direct debit slightly higher than before. The subscription renewed. The weekly routine a little looser than it had been. None of it dramatic. All of it quiet. The raise genuinely improved things in small ways. It just did not improve the financial position, because the money was never directed before it was absorbed. When your next pay increase arrives, name one place it is going before it joins the general flow. That is the only decision the structure cannot make for you. If any of this has felt familiar, that is not a sign that something is wrong with you. This pattern runs in most households. It is not a character flaw. It is just about timing. But here is what I noticed in all those years at the counter. The people whose money actually moved somewhere, month after month, were not the ones who earned the most. They were the ones who had made one decision before the money arrived. Not a plan, one decision. And it was what happened in that first 24 hours that separated them from everyone else. That moment is still to come. 4. The bonus problem. This is where the pattern gets more expensive, because regular payday spending is quiet and gradual. Bonus spending is louder, more visible, and often far more consequential. I used to see customers come in not long after a bonus had landed, sometimes a tax rebate, sometimes a payout. Sometimes an inheritance. The amounts varied enormously, but the behaviour was consistent. A meaningful proportion was gone within the first 2 weeks. Not through negligence, through the same mechanism, amplified. The brain registered it as different money, bonus money, windfall money, money that had not been factored into the plan, so it did not feel like it needed to follow the plan. The Money and Pension Service has noted that people consistently treat lump sum and irregular income as mentally separate from their regular money, making it the category most likely to be spent before it is directed anywhere useful. And the moment it arrives is the most dangerous window. Because the window has no natural close, it stays open until the money is gone. Try this before the next irregular payment lands. Decide where one portion is going before it arrives. Not a full plan, one destination, one account, one purpose, named before the money is in your hands. 5. The spending that looks like balance. This is the version that does not look like a problem at all, because it hides inside the things that feel completely reasonable. I remember a man who came in regularly, solid job, decent enough salary. Every month, the week after payday, he would mention something he had bought. Nothing extreme, a meal out, something for the house. Something small for himself. He once said he had been meaning to start putting something away. I just never quite get to it, he said. He was not confused, he was not struggling, he just always spent before he saved. And it always felt fine, because it was. The spending that feels earned is often the spending that happens first. And whatever happens first gets paid. Whatever waits until after gets what is left. There is usually less left than there should be. The pattern does not feel like a problem because, in any given month, it isn't one. It only becomes one when you add the months up. 6. The interruption. This is what it comes down to. The pattern is not about willpower. It is not about discipline. It is not about the amount. It is about the decision that happens before the money arrives. I saw this work quietly in people who did not describe themselves as financially organized at all. They just had one rule they applied before payday. Not on payday, before it. An amount already decided. A standing order already set. A place the money was already going before the permission moment could fire. It was not large for some of them, but it moved first. And whatever moved first, month after month, compounded, while everything else was absorbed. This week, decide on one amount to move the moment your next pay lands. Set it as a standing order for that date. The decision is the work. Everything after that is just the money following instructions. It was already given. None of these patterns require something to go wrong. They run quietly inside perfectly ordinary months. The money comes in, the feeling arrives, the decisions follow, and at the end of the month, there is usually less than intended. That young woman on her first proper payday, careful for months, finally holding a full payslip, was not making a mistake. Neither was anyone else who came through those doors after a bonus, a raise, or a regular Thursday payday. They were doing something entirely human, but the ones who changed something did not wait for the feeling to pass. They made the decision before it arrived. That is the only move. Make it once, let it run. Slow down, think clearly, and that is how you start to love your money. Love your money.